guys to this ring. Give me a hell yeah.
And once again, back live and in color for SCI Wrestling. I'm WB Ward.
And I am Chip Douglas.
And guess what we do is providing color commentary, so...
Yes, we are.
I guess that's it. I got to tell you, that pay-per-view was so far better than what I had anticipated.
Oh, especially for free.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was very tastefully done. I thought it was very good. I'm excited to come on the show and talk about it. To really get in depth on it and even talk about the Monday after Survivor Series as well. There was high points and low points, that's for sure.
There were. Now, there were some wonderful points about it, about the Monday night after the pay-per-view. However, I will say this, just in general and starting out, typically the Monday Night Raw after a pay-per-view is generally really just blockbusting, but it kind of had its potential to be, but we can talk about that later. But in the pay-per-view, we heard the 5 words that...
letters.
No, 5 words.
Oh, 5 words, okay.
5 words we haven't heard in a long time.
But I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
It was so good to see Mr. Barrett back.
Oh, because he did the pre-show, correct?
Yes.
Because I actually missed the pre-show, so I was not able to watch that. I've only seen the actual pay-per-view itself.
Okay. Well, no, he did quite wonderful and quite well received by the audience, I might add.
Was he?
Oh, well, yeah, he was. His absence was just so missed. I mean, it was missed.
I mean, before his injury, he was picking up some steam with the audience.
Yeah, he was really picking up steam, and I think he's going to be able to pretty much pick up where he left off.
Absolutely. I think what'd be really interesting is where they're going to place him. Are they going to put him in that face character for a little bit?
I don't know. The 2 letters GM come to mind.
Okay.
And he would be a natural candidate.
He would.
Maybe between him and Daniel Bryan.
We'll see.
However, I don't think it will be Daniel Bryan.
I don't either.
But I can see him falling into that category quite possibly.
We'll talk about that more later because I want to go into depth a little bit about that.
Well, right now since we're in the mood, let's just go ahead and do this instead.
Where am I going?
Beam me up, Scotty.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
0. What time is it, kids?
Oh, it's the tweet of the week. Boy, just the time too, because I got a new phone.
You do?
Yeah, I got a new smartphone.
What kind is it?
It's a Samsung Galaxy S5.
It's a what?
Galaxy S5. It's a smartphone.
Woohoo! Okay.
Yeah. And so as the music's playing, I realized I had no idea how to use the Twitter on here, so I couldn't get to my homepage. But I got it just in time. This is brought to you by Pat McNeil from The Real Pat McNeil, who's a wrestling columnist.
Yeah.
I can't remember for who, but he is. It goes, beep, boop. Your attention, please. I have a message from the anonymous Raw Twitterer. And I quote, that ending sucked.
I got to tell you, I would be wholeheartedly impressed. I got to tell you, I have never been so disappointed as I was on my last honeymoon.
Really?
That was a very disappointing end to Raw.
Wow.
That was very disappointing.
That bad?
My God. When they started, did they not learn their lesson the first time that thing flopped?
Oh, apparently not.
Well, it could be. It very well could be, too. And I'm hoping this is the case, that this time it's going to be short-lived. It's not going to last a year.
Yeah.
Do you know that the first time they ran this in the statistical column, that anonymous GM bit that was the general manager longer than Eric Bischoff was?
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
it turned out to be Hornswoggle.
Yeah, and of all the...
How lame is that?
Yeah.
The illegitimate bastard son of Vince McMahon.
And I noticed another thing that they didn't learn, that the writers and producers had not learned yet.
What's that?
Comedians really don't do well. I've only seen one comedian really go over working as a special guest. Only one that, in my opinion, worked, and that was Pee Wee Herman. And that was only because he stayed in character.
Right.
And he played to his character's strengths. But most of them do, like Larry the Cable Guy did last night. And they come over and they oversell their part, and everybody just kind of looks at each other and goes, huh?
Bob Barker was fun.
No, but he was not a comedian.
He's not a comedian.
And see, all the ones who did go over, most of those were not comedians. Now, there were some who worked. Pee Wee Herman worked. Gosh, they did have, what was it? I really didn't really watch a lot of this guy's movies.
I think Hugh Jackman worked pretty well.
Yeah, but he's not a comedian.
No,
I'm speaking strictly of comedians that
okay.
went on. And some of my favorite comedians have been on there and went over like a lead balloon. Larry the Cable Guy, I'm a big fan of, but
not fun.
I've had vacuum cleaners that didn't suck that bad.
Yeah. All right, so getting into Survivor Series,
yes.
We very good pay-per-view. We both agree. We give it 4 thumbs up. For some of us, maybe a third thumb. And then, but you mentioned the return of something that can be explained in 5 words.
Yes.
And I thought you were talking about the person that we never thought we'd see in the ring that consists of 5 letters.
Yes.
And that was the incredible return. Not return, but debut of Sting. I
sit there with my jaw on the floor, and shame on you and I both. How could we have missed that? How could we have missed that as a possibility? Since we both pretty well knew the Authority was going to be gone.
No, I did. I predicted the Authority to win.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But we said the predictions, that whole the whole theory of the participants on Cena's team would be fired. That wasn't done yet.
No.
If that was the case, then I might have said Team Cena. But even still, at that, I mean, the Sting return, no way on earth will I ever think that would be the case.
I got to tell you though, the more I think about it, looking back, and then it's just shame on me. Because I was pretty convinced the Authority was going to go, only by virtue of the fact of how long Triple H and Stephanie have been working. They've been working really hard for a very, very long time. They were due a vacation. So I was sure within my own mind that that's how they worked their vacation. They just came up with the storyline that pretty much got them out of office.
I thought it'd be Randy Orton.
Well, now that's interesting you should say that, because according to my sources, Randy Orton was backstage.
Was he?
Yes,
well, he's from that area.
Yeah, well, he's from that town.
Yeah.
And to quote, let me see.
Well, who?
I didn't write down the guy's name.
Website?
Yeah, it was from pwinsiderelite.com.
Okay.
They require a subscription.
Yes, they do.
You can't just go there.
I know that website very well.
Orton was backstage at Survivor Series, but the WWE officials decided against having him appear at the pay-per-view. The report notes that the WWE believed it didn't need both Sting and Orton on the same show.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense, because the thing for Orton to come back, that can happen anytime.
Whenever you want.
It would have been nice to have had it happen in his hometown. This is true. But people have been wanting Sting for so long. Now the time was right.
I think they're going to leave Orton for a WrestleMania match with Seth Rollins. So I think they're going to use Orton to screw up his title shot somehow.
And that could, in fact, be coming up pretty quick.
Right. But the whole main event in itself, I mean, we were just way off on all of that. I mean, who would have thought that Dolph Ziggler would be the one to stand up for Team Cena? I mean, I never pictured him to be the guy who eliminated everyone.
I was really disappointed in how they used Show.
By turning on Cena?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was nicely done, though. Because then it just built Ziggler even more.
That's true. You talk about the push needed for Ziggler.
Goodness, you could not have pushed someone even better than that.
He got it. He got it.
And then, of course, you had Big Show's speech on Raw, which I thought was lame.
Yes, it was.
So we'll see what happens.
Yes, it was indeed.
So, but the breakout star to me on the Survivor Series match was definitely Dolph Ziggler. I mean, there was no ands, ifs, or buts about it.
For me, the highlight of the evening is watching Brie Bella kiss AJ.
I knew you were going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it.
Yep. Yeah, that was. I must have played that back 8 times.
Well, thanks to the WWE Network, you can.
Yes, that's true. I did. Oh man, I just wish now I just wish I had it on my DVR. But I bet you I could find some way of saving that.
Probably
video.
so.
Yeah,
probably so.
That was. Now my question to you though: did Brie turn heel, or did Nikki turn face?
Brie turned heel.
Are you sure?
I'm saying really, that from a Raw aspect.
They really haven't developed that yet.
Well, because AJ's a face, and
yeah,
and so that's where I'm going from. I actually think that they're still going to turn. I'm sorry. I think Brie's going to turn on Nikki like Daniel Bryan did with the Wyatts.
Yeah,
I can see that happening.
By the way, before we get off the subject of AJ too soon, last week I told you not to worry about the rumors of AJ leaving.
Right.
But, that seems to kind of point to it. But, according to Mike Johnson from PWInsider.com, he was told, and this is a direct quote, "It was simply the way the match was booked that led to the quick ending and loss, not Lee requesting a release or trying to quit, or any of the other stories that seem to be making the rounds." Mr. Johnson ought to know.
That's true. That's true. It's a very good claim. So, it looks like she's sticking around for a little bit.
I believe she is. And I hope they make out again.
Yeah. All right. So with the Authority losing,
yes,
we saw on the Monday Night Raw, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. They kicked off the show with them coming out, giving their speech, and all of a sudden, the return of Daniel Bryan and the Yes chant started.
Oh man, now that was nice to see him.
It was good to see him. I thought that was fun.
I wonder if he's going to be back in the ring soon.
Who knows? Who knows? It's still up in the air. I just appreciate the fact that they still used him in that type of manner. I thought that was really well done.
That was.
You didn't have to bring Sting out because you had him. I thought it was very nice, very refreshing, having him put the matches together for the night. I thought it was great.
I see some elements of some major blockbusters coming together with the return of Sting, or I keep calling it a return, and it's not a return, but with the appearance of Sting, with the return of Daniel Bryan,
right,
and then the announcement of Roman Reigns in a month coming back.
Right.
It's just like, okay, who needed the Authority to begin with?
Right. You don't need it anymore.
I mean, this is a dynamite group of people that are really, really starting to assemble. And I think if they don't want him to be completely forgotten about, they better damn well do something with Brock Lesnar pretty soon. Yeah. He's been so far out of mind and out of space.
Now, see, you think, to me, I think what they do with Brock Lesnar works. To me, he's a special attraction. And
definitely. He's a special attraction.
And so if you use him periodically, just not all the time, I think it works. I think it gives him even more of that rub.
The only problem with that is the WWE Universe has been spoiled by seeing their champions at least periodically. I mean, even with his busy movie schedule, a few years back, even The Rock would make appearances now and then, if not just some kind of a taped cameo appearance.
Well, what's nice is the fact that now we're able to see the fact that they've been able to put 2 pay-per-views together, and this last one being really good. The last one I thought was okay, without a champion on it. I think I applaud them for that. The fact that they could go 2, and actually I think they're going to go a 3rd. I do not see him appearing on TLC. I don't see it happen.
Brock?
Yeah.
No reason for him to.
There's no reason to. No. Save it for the Rumble.
No. I wonder if Sting would.
Not right now. I think we'll see Sting later. But I think we're going to see Lesnar at Royal Rumble. John Cena still holds that number 1 contendership, so I could see that happening at Royal Rumble.
Okay. All right. Big change coming up. Are we through with the pay-per-view?
Yeah, we're done with the pay-per-view. I just wanted to go right into the anonymous GM, though.
Oh, yeah.
And talk about how lame that was.
Yeah, and right after that, we can talk about the scab on my left foot. Good Lord. That was a terrible idea.
So early predictions, you're saying who?
I forgot already.
You said Daniel Bryan, which
No, I said Daniel Bryan I would like to see, but I don't see that happening. Actually, Wade Barrett.
okay.
Wade Barrett, I think, would be a good choice.
Okay.
Good choice. And he may not be physically able to wrestle just yet, so that would be a good way to get him back in shape.
Okay. I would, if I have one prediction, I'm actually going to say Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon
I
is,
would go with that, but to me, it's almost too obvious.
or Randy Orton.
Yeah. Yeah, that would, do you think he would throw support back a la Authority style?
Could.
Possibly.
They could. I think so. Those would be my two predictions. I really can't think too outside the box of anyone else.
I will tell you this much. If they continue the anonymous GM gimmick,
right.
If it looks like they're going to continue, I may stop watching until it's gone.
No,
only because it's
we gotta
so
watch. We have an
stupid.
obligation to sit through the good and the bad.
Oh my God!
So sorry.
Yeah.
But we can move on since you hate that subject so much.
But a lot of viewers will do that though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you start turning off viewers, and can you name the big mistake that they made at the pay-per-view? I know I'm jumping right back on that bandwagon again, but this is something I wanted to bring up last week. Evidently, the writers and or producers, and I'm not sure, well, we'll say WWE Creative, apparently they have not learned from history. I'm a big fan of history.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of history. I love history, reading history, researching history, because of one of the things that I do firmly believe in is those who fail to remember history are doomed to repeat it. Can you name what the what WCW was doing wrong towards the end of their demise? How much did it cost to go to a live WCW event?
Cheap.
How about nothing?
Yeah.
They gave away seats just to pack the house. It's called papering. They would paper the house for the benefit of the TV cameras.
Yeah, but that's not their downfall. I mean, their downfall was their lack of being able to produce top talent.
Well, and they did, and that started with them devaluing their product so much.
Right.
And I'm seeing the WWE doing the same thing with the WWE network. By giving it away, you're slashing your own wrists. And WCW did it. It didn't work. You give away the pot for free. Nobody's going to want to pay the admission.
Yeah.
I think that was a huge mistake, and I hope they will learn from it and come back. Now they delivered huge on this pay-per-view.
Yes, they did.
They delivered hugely. Unfortunately, now the question is, once these people start paying for it, are they going to be able to maintain that? Because by coming back that huge on a free show, they are basically going into contract with their audience saying, here's what we're going to be doing when you start giving us money.
Yeah.
I'm afraid they may have backed themselves into a corner.
That's true. That's 100% true. It'd be yours to see what happens.
What do I know? My favorite color is peanut butter. So.
True. So moving on, some big takeaways from the pay-per-view. Another one for me, new tag team champions.
Yes, that was a surprise.
That was a surprise.
I didn't see that.
I think you called it, didn't you?
No, I was saying the Golden Boys would keep it.
Who'd I say?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
I wouldn't listen to Hell, I don't listen to you. I don't remember.
But I think what was nice is just exactly what you're saying of Mizdow getting like the fans on his side. And I was watching the Raw match, the rematch between Mizdow and Miz versus the Goldie brothers. Every time Mizdow did his part of the stunt, the crowd popped.
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
And now he's got the stunt belts.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Which were nothing
the
more
belts are great.
Which were nothing more than the souvenir stand belts. That's what he was coming out with. So those were obviously cheap, and that just added to the comedy right off the bat. No, I can see this being a rapid deterioration of the Miz and his stunt double, because eventually Mizdow is going to get tired of hearing the Miz claim that he won the belt when in fact it was Mizdow who did the pin.
Who actually did all the work.
And last night at Raw was no different. The Miz was out of the ring, supposedly injured for the storyline, and comes back in virtually a fresh wrestler at the end of it and just goes to an automatic pin. So I think eventually, of course, the storyline is going to go. Mizdow is going to tire of it, and eventually they're going to turn, which will be an interesting twist on the tag team champions, too, because I'll bet they'll do it while they're still tag team champion, but they're going to have the split.
Oh, yeah, they have to at some point. I mean, they have to give Damien his time as a star.
By the way, one of the things I hate more than anything in life is moving.
Oh, I agree. I hate moving.
I mean, moving is such a pain in the paducas. And in some cases, moving is also a sign of desperation.
Okay. Where are you going with this?
Did you know that SmackDown is moving?
Oh, to different
Thursday nights.
Thursday nights, back to its original time or original day.
That is true. It was their original starting point, but generally TV shows do not move in slots. Do not move at all unless something is wrong.
Well, apparently something's wrong.
Again, I refer to history. You know, until SmackDown and Raw came along, do you know what the longest running episodic TV show was?
Dallas?
Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke, okay.
Gunsmoke. They were on Monday nights.
Okay.
Forever.
Okay.
They didn't go away until they changed time slots.
Ooh. All right.
Again, they're not looking at history books. Now, that being said, WWE may not have had anything to say about this. That may have been totally up to the Sci-Fi Network.
Right.
Or NBC. That may have been part of their contract negotiations.
Well, let me bring this up then. Because to me, the last time SmackDown was relevant was when they had the brand split.
True. I am wholeheartedly agreeing with that.
So would it make sense to have the brand split again?
It would definitely make sense. Therefore, it probably won't happen.
Because at that point, they could bring an hour. They could shave an hour off of Raw, which they won't do.
No.
To make it a 2-hour show. And if they do want a 3-hour Raw, it's that special attraction. It's that super show that they have where the brands merge together to have one big show that they could do once every 3 months.
Now, since you've been watching SmackDown, how many times can you remember SmackDown ever being done live?
Well, first of all, you have to ask me when's the last time I watched SmackDown, because honestly, I can't remember the last time I watched SmackDown.
Well, you know, that is, of course, a taped show.
Yes. The last time it was live.
But I can tell you exactly the date.
It has to be back in I'd say about 2002, 2003.
No, it was 2001.
Oh, okay. That's close.
And the reason that I'm saying that is because it was the Friday night following September 11th.
Oh.
They were the first large public gathering immediately following the terrorist attack. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, they were terrorists. Get over it. That was the first large public gathering, and they decided to do the show live. They destroyed the tape that they'd made.
So I'm guessing it's September 12th?
No, because I believe...
Oh, I guess it would be like the 15th?
Well, let me look here on the calendar.
That'd be the 14th.
For 2001, flipping back, September...
That'd be the 4th.
Okay, yeah, that's right. September 11th was on a Tuesday. I was thinking that. So that would have been September No, they were already Friday night by then, weren't they?
No.
Okay, were they still Thursday?
Yeah, they're still Thursday. They're still on UPN.
If they were Thursday at that time, then yeah, that would have been on September the 13th. But I asked that about the live show because, once again, coming up is a live SmackDown. Because during the month of December, beginning December 15th on the USA Network, anybody who loves professional wrestling who is not a subscriber to WWE Network is going to have their fill, because they are going to have 5 days of professional wrestling on the USA Network starting December 15th, starting with Monday Night Raw, followed by a live SmackDown and a 2-hour tribute to the troops, along with a week-long daytime roadblock featuring interviews with the WWE superstars and divas. So that's coming up midway through December.
Wow, I had no idea about that. That was news to me.
That is awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday, December 15th through the 19th. USA Daytime is what is going to be featured. WWE superstars will be interviewed. They're expecting to have interviews with people like The Miz, big show. Titus O'Neil, Brie Bella, as well as Chief Brand Officer. Are you ready for this? Stephanie McMahon will be one of the people there.
They're talking about Chief Operating Officer of Food and Beverages.
I love that. I love that. I love Kane behind the counter. I love Kane behind the counter. They did miss the mark though. If he's going to be selling, they should have started a line of sugar cane. Okay, next pay-per-view coming up, of course, is going to be TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. Oh, my.
Where's it going to be?
It's going to be at the Quickens Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio, and ticket prices have gone down.
Ooh.
I hate to keep harping on this, but I can see so many things that they're doing that's just really shooting themselves in the foot. For one, the Quicken Loans Arena for a pay-per-view? Are you kidding me?
That's a big building. That's where the Cavaliers play.
Well, then how come the big expensive tickets are only $500?
I don't know.
Those are the big tickets. And tickets are available only from the arena and at any Northern Ohio discount drug mart.
That's why. That's the reason so much, because they're able to regulate it a whole lot easier.
Good Lord. I mean, they're lowering...
They'll still be on StubHub.
They did not advertise any gold seats, and usually they'll have the gold seats available for between $1,000 and $2,000.
Right.
There was absolutely no mention of those. Wow. No mention of Ticketmaster.
Wow.
And tickets start at $25 for this pay-per-view, and they only go up to $500. And usually for pay-per-views, they're a lot higher than that. I'm really kind of... I hate to say it, but I can see some not so good things in the near future. Huh. They're already selling WrestleMania tickets.
Okay.
And those are going at their regular rate, where you can spend as much as $2,000 for a ticket.
Right.
So at least they haven't started chopping that block down
true.
yet.
That's true.
So,
and speaking of the pay-per-view, one thing that was announced was Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
Which I called it.
Oh, sure, you did. Yeah, that's true.
That there was no way that it was going to end up with one match. It was definitely go into the second pay-per-view, and then I think from there we could see the close of it. Maybe go into Royal Rumble with it.
Maybe.
Maybe. Don't know. Question mark.
Was this the first time? I don't recall ever watching a pay-per-view where they blatantly promoted another pay-per-view. Has that ever happened before?
Sometimes, just once in a blue. I mean, they always do it once a show.
Because I've just never noticed that before. Because during that match, Dean went under the ring, pulled out tables, ladders, and chairs, and they started talking about the tables, ladders, and chairs match coming up between the two of them. And I thought, wow.
Oh, well, yeah, that was a first.
Yeah, because I've never seen them blatantly promote an upcoming pay-per-view in the story of a current one.
I mean, you never see 10 people immediately just run into the ring and start having an over-the-top battle royal right before Royal Rumble. I mean, you just don't see that.
No.
Hey, these 10 people are going to be in the Royal Rumble next month. What?
And did you notice in that match the miscue of the referees?
What do you mean?
I bet you some people got their butts chewed out of that pay-per-view. The referees were supposed to, you might recall the end of the match, Dean Ambrose had Bray Wyatt buried, and he climbs up on this ladder, and then he does nothing.
Oh, my God.
Stands up there forever. And then after a few minutes, the referees finally run out. I found out later on that was a miscue from the referees. They were supposed to have ran out a lot earlier.
Oh, were they?
That way he wouldn't be stuck on top of that ladder just doing nothing, and eventually he started coming back down, and everybody started booing. Because they were disappointed. They wanted to see him fly off, but anyway. Somebody...
Should have.
Man, I couldn't. I got to tell you, our closing theme just really snuck up on me.
I didn't know it was coming.
I didn't see it either. I knew this was going to be a relatively quick show.
Yes. Oh, we knew it'd be an easy one. That's for sure.
They certainly gave us a lot to talk about. Hopefully, the general manager will be known by the end of next Raw. I would prefer it by the end of next SmackDown, actually. Please.
It won't happen.
Please don't do that. Meanwhile, you can count on us to be here next week, and we're still going to be known because we're going to be here doing the show we call SCI.